and we're ready to rock on another day of the Heat unofficially having Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I'm sure that was a weird spot for you last night, Solana, because no one cares about the draft picks, because the draft picks that they're making, Nate meant, isn't really their pick. At least they let the kid go to the podium at the Barclays Center when he did speak to us. I was in Brooklyn last night for the draft wearing the Milwaukee Bucks hat. But who cares about the draft when you got Giannis Antetokounmpo?
It was the weirdest experience, Gelby, I've ever had doing one of those shows, because the Heat are picking 13th, and literally we could not care less about the Miami Heat were going to end up drafting. It was just like Tobin and I were there, and it was one of those things where the Heat themselves weren't talking about Giannis because it's not official and they can't, talk about it. And literally nobody wanted to talk about the 13th pick. It was bizarre. It was fun, by the way. Like, the vibes were good. People were jacked up. It's been a while since we walked around that building, and like, people were genuinely hyped up and excited for the upcoming season, but still a little just unusual, a little unorthodox.
You were like at a baby shower. Like, everyone knows what's coming. You don't want to say congratulations yet, and you hope there's no complications. We hope that whatever happened with the Ravens and Max Crosby doesn't happen with the Heat and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think Solana would go to heaven or hell, something like that, if this trade does get rescinded. But everyone knows that there's a big event coming, and you're just waiting until July 6th for it to be official. However, I do have one big concern about this.
Here we go.
And I'm not having buyer's remorse. This is the right move for the Miami Heat. But last night, you see a nice, wonderful thing. Vegas is playing New York with the Liberty, and A'ja Wilson is on the Aces, Bam Adebayo's girlfriend, right? And Giannis and Bam are together. They're walking out on the court. And Solana, you think that's like a beautiful moment and a wonderful moment. And it's like, oh, look at these teammates. They're already interacting together. This is going to be the next 1-2 punch, right? Splendid moment last night, correct?
It was just filled with aura. Is exactly what it was. Totally filled with aura.
Big problem, though.
Why is that?
The Aces lost the game. So I have to ask you, is Giannis Antetokounmpo a bad luck charm already? Are him and Bam going to have issues?
Well, let me double check what A'ja Wilson's stats were last night, and then I'll let you know if he's a bad luck charm, because the New York Liberty are a quality team. I don't know how much of the WNBA you pay attention to. A'ja Wilson,
16 points last night.
7
of 18 from the field, was 0 for 3 from 3, which is actually very fitting, because right now the Heat have no shooters, and they couldn't even use A'ja Wilson because she wouldn't help whatsoever.
Yeah, but 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. That's a stat line. That's a Giannis type stat line, Gelby. It is.
So is this just basically putting it out there? New York, Miami, they meet up in a big game down the road in the NBA playoffs, and does the same outcome happen where the Liberty and the Knicks get the victory and the Heat do not?
I don't know. I saw some guy already run the entire simulation on NBA 2K next season, and guess who the Miami Heat defeat in the first round in 5 games? Those stinking Knicks.
Took them out 7 seed?
Yeah, because Giannis got hurt, knock on wood, early in the season. So the Heat ended up being the 6 seed. The Knicks were the 3 seed. Nah, I mean, that video, Gelby, where Bam and Giannis are walking out of the tunnel and they're headed to their seats, that was cool. That was a really, really cool thing to see yesterday. I also didn't realize that Giannis was already back here. Like, I didn't know where he was. I think there was a report that he was on his way back to the state.
That he was on his way back, yeah.
Yeah, but you hadn't seen him yet. I wasn't sure, Gelby, if he was going to show up to the arena last night and kind of just poke his head out and then dip. Like, I don't know what the rules are there. Yeah.
But to already go with Bam to the game, that shows you that Giannis's heart is in the right place. And it was he wanted to be seen last night. You know who also wants to be seen and heard from? LeBron James. And we all know LeBron James could be an egotistical douche. We all know that with King James. And there's always a method to his madness. So LeBron James's story the other night is Giannis Antetokounmpo, where he had that moment where they lost to the Heat in the playoffs, and he was asked, like, is this a failure of a season? And he said, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years were a failure. He asked that. So LeBron puts us out last night, and he goes, wonderful wisdom, words of wisdom here by Giannis. Failure only exists when you refuse to try. So I look at this one of two ways. I will give you the logical way, and then I will give you the Solana way of looking at this.
Okay.
The logical way is this is LeBron saying, everyone talks about me and Michael. See, even Michael Jordan didn't win a championship each and every year because he's so insecure about that. The other way is, Giannis Antetokounmpo now on the Heat. Bam Adebayo continues to be with the Heat. The Heat could use another player. We speculated maybe LeBron James coming back to Miami and taking his talents back to South Beach. Is this LeBron James, like when you go to a dog park, you have a dog, and like you have the 2 or 3 dogs in the dog park, they see one another, they start sniffing one of another around, they sniff the butt, and then they see if they want to hang out. Is this LeBron starting to sniff the butt of one Giannis Antetokounmpo?
You know, Gelby, we've been talking about this. We spent a little bit of time on it yesterday.
I want Heat Homer here. Come on.
Because,
give it to me.
Just
give
because. And about a week and a half ago, when the Giannis thing was still just a dream, there was this report that, you couldn't necessarily rule out LeBron and Giannis coming to Miami. And Hawk didn't want to hear any of it. He said, stop. Let's not be unrealistic. This is stupid. Didn't want to talk about it at all. And Gelby, LeBron James is very calculated with everything he says. Every word, every syllable, every post of his is a calculated move. And I don't know. I mean, why would he do that? Why would he post that yesterday, right after the Giannis Antetokounmpo news? I think LeBron, at the very least, Gelby, at the very least, it's in the back of his mind. Get traded for Jared Allen and go fill that void in Cleveland, or go play with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, and Eric Spoelstra, and get to live on South Beach again. Which one sounds better?
Well, he was in like a gated area. Let's be real. When he was on that private road, I remember going past, and they're like, "Oh, that's where LeBron lives."
Yeah, but he
used
to ride his bike to the arena. And in December, January, February, gets to go to the beach, gets to go sit by the pool in the afternoon. Gelby, come on. It's the obvious choice. It's the 305.
It may be time to dust off Jim Gray, that old curmudgeon son of a bitch, and have LeBron do one last decision. And Austin Reeves, big extension coming with the Lakers. So now, all right, is LeBron going to want to take less to stay with the Lakers? Him and Pelinka could have a falling out. Cavs speculation, maybe there's a trade. Jared Allen, people in Cleveland saying, well, for 1 year of LeBron, you want to lose the next 4 or 5 years of Jared Allen? Process by elimination. If the Lakers go, if the Cavs go, there's one team left. And who would it be? Alejandro Solana's Miami Heat. LeBron, come on to Miami. And hey, we can wait till July 6th. Imagine LeBron walking out with Giannis, walking out with Bam Adebayo, and LeBron, just for old time's sakes, go, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 7, not 8. Like, he's probably only going to play another year or 2, but that would, now having Giannis, I had no appetite with Giannis not here to see LeBron come back to Miami. I just thought it was pointless, like go back to Cleveland or stay in LA. Now with Giannis Antetokounmpo in Miami with Bam Adebayo, LeBron James, I could have an appetite for him coming back to South Beach.
It changes everything, Gelb. Like, Giannis really does change everything. I wanted to get into it with you a little bit later regarding the way people are perceiving this version of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm seeing a lot of people say he's not in his prime anymore. He's washed. But aside from that, Ira yesterday said to us that if you had to choose between Wiggins and Powell, those two, or LeBron James, that he would choose Wiggins and Powell. And I understand that logic. And I'm not saying that I disagree with Ira, but it could come down to Norman Powell needing to cash in on that 1 year where he can finally cash in after the All-Star season that he had never had before. And it might not end up being in Miami. It kind of feels like it's trending that way. Who knows, right? We'll see how this all shapes up over the next week or so. But if that's the case, there is a pathway, Gelby. Sign and trade Norm to the Lakers and or somewhere else and make that deal with LeBron coming to Miami. Like, there's a pathway for it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I wouldn't be opposed, is all I'll tell you. I would not be opposed.
I'm not great at math, but right now I would say 40% chance he goes back to the Lakers. 50% he goes back to the Lakers. 30% that he goes to Cleveland. 20% the Heat. I think that adds up. 50, 60, 70, 80. Yep, 20. That's 100. Look at me. I'm not good at math. That was the toughest thing I've ever had to do right there. Jimmy even gave me 2 thumbs up. He goes, this idiot that's in sports media, no way he's going to be able to add to 100 right here. Like, I think there's a 20%. I don't think it's likely. I'm not going to sit here and say I expect LeBron to be here. But if you would ask me 2 weeks ago, does LeBron go back to Miami? I would say no. Now we're talking about a 20% chance potentially. And the way that this would go is the Lakers annoy him. Cleveland doesn't have the appetite to trade for him because they don't want to get rid of Allen and they don't want to get rid of Mobley to make the salaries work. And then it's like, where else are you going to go? Could he go to Golden State? There are other options out there, but sure. Miami, they're there and they're lurking. They're starting to lurk again.
There's really only like a couple realistic options. We went through them yesterday. Golden State, to me, not that it's likely he goes there, but it makes sense. You could see
Steph.
Why. Right. It just makes sense. Lakers staying there. I don't know, man. I feel the same way I did yesterday. The Austin Reeves thing changes everything to me in terms of LeBron. We'll see. Cleveland, obviously, everybody expects him to go back to Cleveland. But if the Cavs really have to give up Jared Allen for LeBron James, I mean, really? They're going to do that for LeBron's retirement tour? That doesn't make them better in terms of how they have to get through the opponents that they haven't been able to get through, which is now a front court of the Miami Heat with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo, which is the New York Knicks who swept them out of the playoffs and made it look easy. I'm not saying Jared Allen's better than LeBron, obviously, but when you just talk about matchups, when you just talk about the state of that team and the way that they operate, their front court is everything to them along with Donovan Mitchell. He's going to go team up with Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell and lose Jared Allen, like that
and
team.
Fat James Harden. Don't forget about him.
James Harden. It just doesn't make any sense
and
to me.
Strip club.
If we're just talking about overall fit, what did we say yesterday, Gelby? If LeBron wants to continue to win and be in a position where he can win, he can't be the number one anymore. We know that, right? He can't be the number one every given night for 82 games. It's just not going to work. He can't be the number 2 on a title contender. I think we saw enough of a sample size with Luka and him last season, even though you made a great point. At the end of the year, they were coming on strong, and who knows what would have happened. But why not embrace, if you're LeBron, being the number 3 on a team? You're still LeBron James. You're still the face of the NBA. You're still the greatest player or second greatest player of all time, whatever the hell you want to say. And now, less toll on your body. You don't have to be relied upon night in, night out. Giannis and Bam carry the weight. You get to be the de facto point guard, surround those 3 with shooters, and you're talking about a legit, maybe the best third option in the history of the NBA.
And it's also not crazy to say that LeBron will feel insulted by the Lakers. The Cavs don't want to part with a piece like Jared Allen. And then it's like, where do you go? It's not that far away. It's not that many steps to when Miami gets into this conversation. And also, because my view from this, from bird's eye view, the championship with Cleveland, we've talked about this, matters the most. That after that, you could debate the Lakers championship, his first championship with Miami, then the second one beating the San Antonio Spurs. He goes back to end his career in Miami. It goes from like, yeah, he just went there for 4 years. It was like graduating high school, going to college, and you went back to your home. Like, I think that was the analogy he used. This would then be like, oh, no, the Heat were a little bit extra more important to him than we probably all realize if he comes and ends his career in Miami. And old people love to go to retire in Florida, so why not do it?
Everybody embraced that whole, like, 4 years of college thing when he came to Miami. Like, everybody. Dwayne Wade talked about it, and LeBron started talking about it. We've heard people from the Miami Heat talk about it, and really, like, that became the way everybody described LeBron's time in Miami. And look, I get it. 4 years. He won 2 titles. He learned how to win. It was a
good spin on rejection.
It was a great spin on rejection. It really was. And it was his time to leave. The reality is he thought Dwayne Wade's knees were banged up and he wanted an out. And he saw the out to go back to Cleveland. And hey, it all worked out for him, obviously, with the title. I know, Gelby, like, I think he has deep respect for this organization. And I think more than anything, he loved living in Miami. I really do. And if he does feel disrespected by the Lakers, and if the Cleveland thing just isn't going to work out and he's not ready for that one last retirement tour, and the Cavs aren't willing to let go of one of their centerpieces to give LeBron that opportunity because they feel like they still have a window to go compete, Miami might end up being the only logical option for LeBron James.
I could see LeBron at Prime 112 again. I could see LeBron at Carbone with the big glass of vino. I could see it. He may go there anyway, but he could be a member of the Heat when he goes there next. All right.